Hello family, I'm Rob and I'm a real alcoholic. I'd like to welcome everyone to the Atlanta Step Up Society book study, Change Your Thinking, Change Your Life. Remember, change your thinking, Robert, and watch your life change. We got to change our thinking, change our way of our psyche and our mindset, get new ideals, new thoughts, new way of living in our mind, and your life will follow. That's a guarantee. That's the way it works. All right, let's open with a moment of silence, followed by the serenity prayer. Serenity prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. You know, I humbly accept just like gratitude for people all over the world watching this DVD. And it's my goal, my mission is to help everyone. And I know, because the book talks about there's a how and a when to help. I know you can't help everybody. Because the message, I'm carrying a message. But I wish everybody would get it. But I know everybody's not going to get this. Some people don't believe it. Some people are still willing to do it their way. Others just won't accept it, but that's okay. I'm still going to do every Wednesday night, carry the message. And hopefully people will get on board. But there is one thing for sure. If you don't get this message and you're a real alcoholic and act like I am, you're going to get a message. You're going to get some mess. There's no in-between in this game, man. There's no in-between in it. You cannot be lukewarm in this thing. Either you in it or you out of it. There's no middle road for it. And I promise you that. After 21 years, don't you think we done seen it? I done experienced it. I done seen it. This ain't something I'm making up. I can't make up that there's not water in this bottle. There's water in this bottle. If you don't think it's wet, live in the desert for about 10 days without some water. And tell me if it's water in here or not when you drink it. It's water. You might not believe it, but by day 4 or 5, you'll believe it. Alright? So what we're going to do, we're going to continue on the 9th step. In order to do a 9th step, you have to have an 8-step list. In order to have an 8-step list, you have to have a 4-step list. So if you don't have them lists, don't go making amends. Because you're only leaning on your own understanding. I can guarantee you that. Alright, so there's my list. I just did a small one. And then in order for me to explain the 9th step, I have to put some of my life experiences in it. As y'all reading, I have to tell you what I did or what somebody I sponsored did. It has to be some live spiritual experiences in it. Okay? So last week I kind of reviewed a little bit about what would happen when you have to make amends to someone that you enemy or someone you hated. And I told you I did it with my friend that was in the military that married my ex-wife. Alright? And if you missed it, it's on YouTube on the CD. I really don't want to repeat that scenario tonight because it was long. But we're going to move forward. But what I do want to do is let's start on page 77 at the bottom. Because there's some good stuff tonight. Tonight has some powerful lessons in it. And I don't want to miss anything. I want to do my best, God willing, to explain it and break it down so we all understand. Go to page 77 at the bottom where it says, under no circumstances do we criticize such a person. We can start there, Steve.
Under no condition do we criticize such a person or argue. Simply we tell him that we will never get over drinking until we have done our utmost to straighten out the past. We are there to sweep off our side of the street, realizing that nothing worthwhile can be accomplished until we do so. Never trying to tell him what he should do. His faults are not discussed. We stick to our own. And if our manner is calm, frank, and open, we will be gratified with the result.
Get it under your manner book. Now I have some more in my office on a file cabinet. Alright. Under no condition do we criticize such a person or argue. Remember now, we're approaching the people in the that we're doing amends to who we dislike. We're still on that part, or enemy, and we're not there to criticize or argue with them. All right, we simply tell them that we will never get over drinking until we have done our utmost to straighten out the past. And when I was in up north and I was doing my amends with my wife's family, I was telling them that, look, I'm in a 12-step program. I cannot get over drinking. I will be back on crack if I don't do these amends. I had already read that Dr. Bob didn't do his, and he went to drinking. And he turned around and did them and stayed sober for the rest of his life. So in my little logic for mine, if the founder relapsed because he didn't do it, I'm not going to have a chance in hell. You know, I'm way down the list. So I figured that I need to tell them. And I told them that's exactly what I was doing. They were all open for it. Not one person was against what I was trying to do. All right? And then it says, we are there to sweep off our side of the street, realizing that nothing worthwhile can be accomplished until we do so, never trying to tell him what he should do. I realized this experience more than anything. This sweeping off my side of the street became real. It became alive. It was not no longer words on a page. When I went to do my amends with my family members, I had it in my mind that I'm just going to sweep my side of the street to stay sober. I'm only doing my side. I don't care what they did to me. I don't care how they talked about me. None of that mattered. I was there to say I'm sorry. I apologize for what I did. If I owe you any money, I don't have much, but I'm going to try to help you pay for it. I'm going to try to pay. And I just did my side of the street. And I noticed that when I was sweeping my side, there were some family members who were throwing dirt on it. You know, they had some stuff to say about people that they thought wronged me. You know, people who didn't stick by my side. You know, they had family members who loved me regardless. They got high with me too. You know what I'm saying? They were missing me. You know? So they were like, this person did you wrong. She shouldn't have done that. You know what I'm trying to say? I wish they never would have met up with this person. So they were putting dirt on the side of the street that I was sweeping. So I had to sweep a little harder. But I never paid them no attention because y'all told me not to do that. I had instructions. I was following the book. I had a sponsor. I knew what my mission was. And so it became alive. His fault should not be discussed. We stick to our arm. If our manner is calm, frank, and open, we will be gratified with the result. The results was beautiful. I gained, I'm going to tell you what kind of results I got from doing the amends in Philadelphia. Number one, I was at peace. Number two, I felt like I had accomplished something in recovery. You know, I knew I had done a lot of work, but now I'm starting to see the promises and the results come in my life from doing what y'all asked me to do with other people. I became free. And I told y'all I was driving back. Me and my wife and my daughter was coming back south. We were coming back to Atlanta. My mama asked me, she said, how you feel? Aren't you glad you're not in that mess? I said, thank God. I felt free. Free. And it wasn't free because they were bad people. It was free. I was free because I had been harboring those resentments and that same thoughts and all that misery in my sight, in my consciousness. I had been harboring. And I know for a fact that once I did that and saw them, if they had any ill feelings or resentments or anything toward me, they were set free too. And from that point on, I have never ever had any confrontation, not one single bad word or argument with those people that was in my life. Not once. Not one bitter sentence ever came up out of it. If you don't have garbage, you're not going to be able to bring garbage out of the trash can. There's no garbage in there. Alright? I like this though, and you can read it in a lot of different forms. But it says, if our manner is calm, frank, and open. Frank means kind of honest. We will be gratified with the result. That we will, I take it two ways. That's just me and my English. I don't know about nobody else's. We will be gratified with the result. Could mean we will, everybody in the fellowship, we as alcoholics, but all y'all wasn't there with me. The only person that could have probably got gratification with the result were the people I was making amends to. That make sense? So when I say we will, it could be everybody, all those 12 steps will be gratified with the result. Or the guy that I hated and disliked, when I did all this, we were grateful for the results. How's that? So I guess you can take it two ways. I take it two ways. The person who over there, they're going to get the results with me. And then everybody that do the amend will get the results too. Alright? Do the next one.
In 9 cases out of 10, the unexpected happens. Sometimes a man we are calling upon admits his own fault, so feuds of years standing melt away in an hour. Rarely do we fail to make satisfactory progress. Our former enemies sometimes praise what we are doing and wish us well. Occasionally, they will offer assistance. It should not matter, however. If someone does throw us out of his office, we've made our demonstration, done our part. It's water over the dam.
Now, when I was doing amends, I can't speak for other people. I know I felt grateful. But I ain't see Buddy no more when I was there 3 days. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know. You know what I'm trying to say? I know it's water over the dam for me. But that's the point I do like. In 9 cases out of 10, the unexpected happens. Sometimes a man or woman we are calling upon admits his own fault, so feuds of years standing melt away in an hour. You don't have to have physical feuds. You can have mental ones too. A lot of mental garbage that we carry around for years can melt away. Alright? So, rarely do we see it, rarely do we fail to make satisfactory progress. You know, I was just thinking, on every event that I ever did, you could have walked across, it ain't that serious. You know, they just would see your picture all over the world. So check this out. Check this out. Every time I ever do amends, and I still do them to the day, I always get some kind of satisfaction out of it. It'll always be something good come out of it. Really, I mean, almost never do we fail to make satisfactory progress. Alright, and I've always, even when every time I did amends too, I kind of noticed that the other people start admitting their faults. Some in depth and some shallow. But people will start to say, you know, it wasn't that bad. I did this too. Or I participated in it. I was the cause. You know, so some people do admit and some people don't. But I never did any type of amends when I went in and did it the right way. And I honestly, you know, frankly, did my part. Did I have to worry about whether I was going to get mistreated or not? Because that never happened to me. Alright? Our former enemies sometimes praise what we are doing and wish us well. Occasionally they will offer assistance. It should not matter, however, if someone throws us out of his office. We have made our demonstration, done our part, it's water over the dam. If someone kicks you out and tell you get on there and want to never see you again, that's okay. It's okay. You always got us. You know, we ain't going to kick you out of our lives. You know, I found early on in the fellowship, and I wish I could, like, portray this to newcomers. I found it to be very true in my life, in my recovery, that I have two families. I have a family of origin and a family of choice. Alright? My family of origin, where I was born on my family tree, between my mother and my father, my sisters and my brothers, my aunts and my cousins, that's my family of origin. I did not have a choice in that matter. I did not have a choice in that matter. That's where I was planted, and that's my family of origin. But today, I have a family of choice. And most of the time, I choose you people. That's my family of choice. I do know one thing about family of origin. Now, and it's not a bad thing. But it's kind of like being born in a tribe or a village.
Okay.
And a tribe and a village don't evolve too fast. They kind of slow. You know what I'm saying? They kind of still do the same thing they were doing 20 years ago. Maybe one or two pop up and go to college. You know what I'm saying? One or two get religion. But the rest of the tribe, basically doing the same thing. And when you leave the tribe to do something different, the tribe don't like it. The tribe don't like that. They want you to stay in the nest. Stay in the tribe. So in order to evolve, you might have to leave the tribe and get you a new family of choice. And that's all the way up. You can ask anybody who made a lot of money. Ask Hammer. Did he not, even when he had his family of choice, he still had to leave that tribe. They bring you down. You got to remember that. So as you start evolving, some of your old people, places, things, and playmates, you got to let them go. Don't go in there and try to fix them. It ain't going to happen. Just keep that in your mind. All right? Water over the dam. Do the next one.
Most alcoholics owe money. Do not dodge our creditors. Telling them what we are trying to do, we make no bones about our drinking. They usually know it anyway, whether we think so or not. Nor are we afraid of disclosing our alcoholism on the theory it may cause financial harm. Approached in this way, the most ruthless creditor will sometimes surprise us. Arranging the best deal we can, we let these people know we are sorry. Our drinking has made us slow to pay. We must lose our fear of creditors no matter how far we have to go. But we are liable to drink if we are afraid to face them.
All right. They're talking about making financial amends. Money amends. Remember I told you this about for every type of amend that you're going to have to do, the instructions is in the book. You just go through the book, read the 10 pages, however many it is, find the type of amend you have to do, and follow the instructions and do it. Alright? So they're talking about money amends now. It says most alcoholics owe money. We all owe somebody something. If you live a life of give me, give me, give me, I'm going to take, then you owe. That's the bottom line. We do not dodge our creditors. Most of my money people was on the later list or the maybe list. Because when I first got clean, I had no money. The job that I had only paid $4 an hour. So I wasn't about to make, and I had an apartment by myself with no help. So I wasn't about to make financial amends. That had to go later. I couldn't do it. Wasn't no point of me even trying to do it. Alright? So I put it on a later list. I did get to it though. Creditors have a way of coming to you. We do not dodge our creditors. Telling them what we are trying to do. No, telling them what we are trying to do. We make no bones about our drinking. They usually know it anyway. whether we think so or not, especially people, you know. Nor are we afraid of disclosing our alcoholism on the theory that it may cause financial harm. A lot of people were professionals when this book was written. You know, they were professional people. And they was afraid if they tell some of their people, if you're a doctor and you owe some people and you tell them I was an alcoholic, they think they're going to hurt them. You know, especially if the people you owe, their family come to you for medical advice, they ain't coming. He's an alcoholic. That's what they were thinking. That's why they put that in there. Y'all ain't got to worry about it. I'm just playing. A growth in this way, the most ruthless predator will sometimes surprise us, arranging the best deal. That's what I want to talk about. I'm going to use Grady Hospital. All right. I owe Grady some money. And it's a public hospital. I went and got treatments, you know, help. So whenever I was sick or something, I went to Grady. But Grady, they got this sliding pay scale and give you a card, but they're going to send you a bill. You will get a bill. So I was working, I was working at a retail store, and there was another female, both of us was managers. Now I'm up to about $7 an hour now. And I was in a 3-quarter house, and I wanted to move into an apartment. I was a manager, making about $7 an hour, and she was too. And she wanted to get an apartment, and I wanted to get an apartment. We was, you know, we had the same office, and we would talk about these apartments. And we went and looked at the apartments together. And we came down to filling out the application, and then we had credit. You know, your credit part, we had to fill out. Both of us owed Grady. Both of us owed Grady. Y'all had told me to pay Grady $10 a month. That's what y'all told me. When that bill come, just pay him a little bit. So I sent him $10 a month every time I got the bill. And to my surprise, because I wasn't paying nobody prior to Grady. I didn't open the bill. I just threw them in the trash. You know? So when I started getting the Grady thing, and I would pay them the $10, do a $10 money order, and I send it back. To my surprise, the envelope will come back the next month and said, "Thank you for your payment. Thank you for your payment." The bill didn't drop that much, but it was the idea that they thanked me. Ain't nobody was thanking me. They were cursing me out, trying to get me arrested, but they wasn't thanking me. That was a big issue for me. That made me feel like a human being, part of society again. I told this lady, I'm not paying, this is what she told me, I'm not paying Grady nothing. I said, all you got to do is send them. She wasn't in no recovery either. All you have to do is send them $10 a month. I'm not paying them nothing. We sent in our our application. My apartment was approved. Hers was denied. She was red hot. She called him up, said, "Why did y'all deny my credit?" And I heard it though. And he gave him his. I heard it. You know, I'm standing on the other side. She didn't know I was eavesdropping. And you gave him his, but you denied me. They said, "Because you owe Grady." You had a bad credit report because you owe Grady. That $10 kept me off that list. And then eventually I paid them. You know, all the way I got finished and it was over. But it kept me off the credit list. I wasn't slow to pay. I paid on time. I paid. And I got my apartment and she did. I made amends to Grady. Alright. Same with the IRS. I went down there, y'all told me, make the minimum you can afford. When they told me I owe that $4,000 to $5,000, I told them $25 a month. They said okay. I paid $25 a month. The first year I got supposed to get about $800, they took it. I felt good about it because my thing was going down. Then I got married. I told y'all about that. We found a joint and they snatched all my wife. I was through. But she was hot. Because she didn't get no money. They snatched it because of the joint. My name was in my social security number. They got their money back. But fortunately, by that time, I had money and I gave her portion back. Alright? I told you she had big plans, boy. You know what, they had the big plans every year. How they gonna spend their money, what they gonna do, and they go shopping and all that. That was squashed. So I had to give them their money so they can continue that dream. You know? So arrange the best deal you can. That's all they ask. Nobody asks you to pay them off. And that's the thing. If you gonna pay them off at one chunk, you ain't gonna never do it. You become willing if you pay a little bit at a time. Then you get a little bit more, you increase it. That's how you become willing to make amends. If you have to wait till you get all the $5,000, you might not never get it. They don't get paid, and you have to live in that fear of them always coming at you. And now, it's so bad you can't even get a job because of your credit report. I hear a lot of people talking about felony. They ain't even think about credit reports. They ain't hiring you for that. Bad credit, you ain't getting no job. Your best bet stay in treatment till you figure out how to do the amends and let God go with you. Yeah. I'm telling you the real deal. I'm not sugarcoating it tonight. You go out there without God if you want to. Alright, let's do the next. They said we must lose our fear of creditors. No matter how far we have to go. For we are, what's that word? Liable. I got them so many notes I can't see the word. We are liable to drink if we are afraid to face them. They're saying that if you're afraid to face your creditors, you're afraid to tell these people, make up some kind of payment plan or something like that, you living in fear, you're going to relapse. You will relapse. This ain't a nice step. Some of y'all ain't did step one. They tell us 9 steppers. If you're afraid, you're going to do what? Relapse. Let's go.
Perhaps we have committed a criminal offense which might land us in jail if it were known to the authorities. We may be short in our accounts and unable to make good. We have already admitted this in confidence to another person, but we are sure we would be imprisoned or lose our job if it were known. Maybe it's only a petty offense such as padding the expense account. Most of us have done that sort of thing. Maybe we are divorced and have remarried but haven't kept up the alimony to number 1. She is indigent about it and has a warrant out for our arrest. That's a common form of trouble too.
Alright. We're going into, now we finished with the financial type of man, now we're going into the criminal stuff. Alright. Let me just say this first. So in my time in recovery, I have seen people do their men go ahead and do their jail time. Go ahead and turn themselves in, do the jail time, come out, and have that freedom to live instead of living in fear. I've seen people do that. And I didn't have to do that. But what I'm saying is I've seen people do it, and I get the same stories or the same sharing when they come out. First of all, everybody say one thing. It's better to be in jail sober than in jail trying to find drugs. Alright, you're sober thinking, sober mind, that's better than trying to get high in jail. The second thing is, after they come out, they resume their recovery where they were, go back to their same group. They got a home that's loving, caring, and embracing them as soon as they get out. They have that with them the whole time. In fact, recovery comes inside of them, and they have more people. People tell me that more people from the rooms came to visit them than their family of origin. So they was able to witness, now wait a minute, I got a family of choice, and I got a family of origin. My family of origin hasn't even came to see me, but my family of choice has. And understand. Not here to put me down, but to embrace me and lift me up.
That's right.
Alright, perhaps we have committed a criminal offense which might land us in jail if it was known to the authorities. It's already known. If you don't believe it, get in the car and run around the city and you know you got a warrant. See a roadblock, you know it's known. You try to bag up out of it. There you go. Hey, look, there you go on the radio. Get that blue car right there. They know. We may be short in our accounts and unable to make good. We have already admitted this in the confidence of another person. That's the fifth step. But we are sure we will be in prison or lose our job if it were known. Maybe it's only a petty offense, such as padding the expense account. Most of us have done that sort of thing. They're talking about people who work around money. And not only that, you know, they have expense accounts to go traveling. And you know, you see that all the time with political officials. You know, they taking vacations on tax money, you know, stuff like that. But you can clearly see this was written before the digital world. You know what I'm saying? If it were known, that's how. Don't even think like that. It's known. In fact, it's on Facebook. It's already there. Your internet. Put your name in there. You'll see it's known. They know. They just waiting on you. Maybe we are divorced. Am I right there?
Yeah.
All right. Maybe we are divorced and have remarried, but haven't kept up the alimony to number one, child support. And that's common. It says that she is indignant about it and has a warrant out for arrest. That's a common form of trouble too. That's still common today. Child support is everywhere. Everywhere. You take your driving license, you don't pay, they lock you up, so you're going to jail anyway. Alright? But the beautiful part about it, you're going to be able to come out, do your amends, and get educated. My brother's going through that right now. He's out, and they sending him to school, and paying them. That's what they're doing right now. He's in a program for heating and air. And now he's going to the. He finished the classwork. He's at Goodwill in a program. They're paying him to be in the program till he finds a job. He's on the computer. He's getting paid, and then they'll find him a job, and now you can pay your child support. If that ain't making amends, I don't know what a making amends is. Somebody paying you to make amends. But some people mess that up.
Oh yeah.
Get paid to make amends and still don't go. I'll do the next one.
Although these reparations take innumerable forms, there are some general principles which we find guiding. Reminding ourselves that we have decided to go to any lengths to find a spiritual experience. We ask we might be given strength and direction to do the right thing, no matter what the personal consequences may be. We may lose our position or reputation or face jail, but we are willing. We have to be. We must not shrink at anything.
Although these amends take innumerable form, there's a lot of type of amends. So they can't pinpoint every one and write every one in the book. You know, these are just basic guidelines. Alright? There are some general principles which we find guiding. Number one, when you go out to do your amends, I used to read these all the time. When I'm going to do my amends, I have to reminding ourselves that we have decided to go to any lengths to find a spiritual experience. That's different from any length for my recovery. You know what I'm trying to say? That's different than saying I go to any length to stay clean and sober. Now I'm doing my amends. I'm going to any length to find a spiritual experience, to see the miracle. I'm looking for a miracle. I'm looking for some kind of spiritual awakening, some kind of spiritual thing to take place. Remember I told you about my very first amend with my aunt? When I did the amends, another man in another city was doing amends, and he had wrote her a letter and sent her a check for $10,000, and he was talking about making amends. She didn't know what he was talking about. I was making amends. I read the letter. There was the check, and she allowed me to take the check to the bank. And I deposited for her, and I came back to pay her my money. She said, no, you don't owe me nothing. Let me give you some money. Spiritual experience. I wasn't expecting that. That's way out of what I was thinking. I was thinking about just saying I'm sorry and paying her money and hauling ass. I had no clue that, oh, this is going to manifest. You know what I'm trying to say? That's a spiritual experience. We ask, we pray that we be given strength and direction to do the right thing. Sometimes you're going back to people that you don't want to really, you're kind of hesitant about. You really don't want to do it. Only prayer you probably can say is, thy will be done. You can't come up with no whole lot of philosophizing now. Because buddy might have been a drug dealer. Ain't that much prayer in the world. But save me. You know, it'll be short prayers. Quick and easy. In and out. But you have to do it. You have to go to any limit for a spiritual experience. Alright? To do the right thing, no matter what the personal consequences may be. That's what I'm talking about. You might, in your mindset, be thinking about some kind of personal consequences that might happen, and lo and behold, you get there, a whole new spiritual experience that's going to take place that has nothing to do with what you're thinking, that lets you know your mind has nothing to do with it anyhow. That was nothing but the ego fooling you. We may lose our position or reputation or face jail, but we are willing. That's number 3. We have to be. We must not shrink at anything. Next one.
Usually, however, other people are involved. Therefore, we are not to be hasty and foolish martyr who would needlessly sacrifice others to save himself from the alcoholic pit. A man we know had remarried. Because of resentment and drinking, he had not paid alimony to his first wife. She was furious. She went to the court and got an order for his arrest. He had commenced our way of life, had secured a position, and was getting his head above water. It would have been impressive heroics if he had walked up to the judge and said, "Here I am."
Keep going.
We thought he ought to be willing to do that if necessary, but if he were in jail, he could provide nothing for either family. We suggested he write his first wife admitting his faults and asking forgiveness. He did, and also sent a small amount of money. He told her what he would try to do in the future. He said he was perfectly willing to go to jail if she insisted. Of course, she did not, and the whole situation has long since been adjusted.
Alright, here's the deal. Alright. Usually, however, other people are involved. This does not make a man for myself. It affected other people. You know, like this is a family disease. It just don't affect me. It affected people in my family. Alright. Therefore, we are not to be the hasty and foolish martyr who would needlessly sacrifice others to save himself from the alcoholic pit. I don't need to be the one that's so righteous or something like that that I'm going to do the men, but other people going to have to, you know, have to carry the burden. Alright. A man we know had remarried because of resentment and drinking. He had not paid alimony to his first wife. She was pissed. She went to court and got an order for his arrest. He had commenced our way of life. That's what I want to talk about. When the people writing this right here, yeah, they had a few meeting places, maybe 2 or 3. But their way of life was the 12 steps. I want to clarify that. We're talking about the program of recovery. We're not talking about going in no treatment center for 90 days and then go back out to your living and call it our way of life. Because that's not our way of life. More people I know who have real good, solid recovery did long-term treatment. Or you don't have to do long-term treatment, but you definitely going to have to get into a book study and get a sponsor and work some 12 steps. Good sharing is not our way of living. Because you don't went to some meetings and you can share well, that's not our way of living. You can do a 99, another 99, and another 99. If you don't pick up these 12 steps, that's not our way of living. That's just staying sober. Alright. He had secured a position and was getting let me do this again. She went to the court and got an order for his arrest. He had commenced our way of life, the 12 steps. Had secured a position and was getting his head above water. A lot of people do that. Most people in the fellowship do that. If you stick around this long enough, you will blanket blessings. You will get a job, and you will probably get an apartment or something like that, or a girlfriend or boyfriend. You'll get that. Everybody get that. So when you get that and you all excited, it'll tell you, whoop-de-doo. That's something everybody get. That ain't nothing to be excited about. You be excited when you're doing these amends the right way. Because you got a job, an apartment, maybe an automobile and a significant other, whoop-de-doo. It would have been impressive heroics if he had walked up to the judge and said, "Here I am," turn himself in. We thought he ought to be willing to do that if necessary, but if he were in jail, he could provide nothing for either family. He couldn't take care of the family now or the other family. So what did he do? What did we suggest he do? We suggested he write his first wife doing his admitting his fault, not hers, and asking for forgiveness. It's cleaning his side of the street. Alright? He did, and also sent a small amount of money. I want to talk about this small amount of money for a minute. I had my daughters and my stepdaughter, once I got clean and sober, even with my $4 an hour pay, my sponsor told me, if you want to repair the damage with young kids, they were young, you know, like 11, 12, 10, you know, they're still like teenagers, adolescent or whatever, send them some money. Every time I got paid, I would go and get a $10 money order, $5 money, I didn't care. And I would put it in a card. I went to the dollar store and bought a card. Sometimes they have 3 for $1, I buy 3 of them. And I put a money order in each one with a stamp and an address, and I sent it out. I wouldn't even call them or nothing like that. I just sent it out. Then after a period of time, they got accustomed to getting that $10 $5. It wasn't the point of being a lot. They knew that their daddy was going to send them some money. And they start repairing our relationship. They start calling me. We didn't have cell phones and all that then. You know what I'm saying? We had a home phone. I get home on the answering machine. This is your daughter calling. Thank you for the money. You know, that's all we had. All this paging and all this digital and Facebook, we had none of that. So I was hearing that. It started to work. So if you got kids or something like that and you're trying to, the quickest way to get to them, just send them some money and a card. You read the card, make the card be special though. You know, and send it to them. It don't have to be a lot, $10. It works. That's what he did to his ex-wife. He told her what he would try to do. Circle that word. Try. Don't make no promises. Because we, Lord knows, we broke every promise that we ever made. Every promise I ever made, I broke. So I just say which one I'm going to try to do. That kind of freed me a little bit. Gave me some space to make an error or two. To do in the future. He said he was perfectly willing to go to jail if she insisted. Of course she did not. And the whole situation has long been adjusted. He was right. Just by making a little bit of a small amount of money. All right, next page. Go ahead.
Before taking drastic action, which might implicate other people, we should secure their consent. If we have obtained permission, have consulted with others, ask God to help, and the drastic step is indicated, we must not shrink.
All right, listen to this. Before taking drastic action which might implement other people, we secure their consent. That's made direct demand to such people wherever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. We're going into that last part of it. injure them or others. Alright? I gotta make my amend, but I don't want to injure other people that was kind of in with me. You know, I didn't want to do mine, not nobody else's. Alright, I'm going to do one right here. Before taking drastic action which might implement other people, we secure their consent. If we have obtained permission, have consulted with others, we pray, ask God to help, and the drastic step is indicated, we must not stray. My brother Terry, me and him were doing some construction work, and we went to a few people get the draw for the construction work. You know, he had a scheme. He was the construction man. I was just with him. Go to Home Depot and get the lumber. Something about lumber. I ain't trying to teach the world how to be criminal. But when you put some lumber in somebody's front yard on driveway, they excited. They know you're going to work. And we wouldn't go back. We just get the lumber, and go home. That's why I got that guy Jim right there. We went and got the lumber to do some work at Jim's house. Now I was going to do the painting and Terry was going to do the woodwork. Paint the whole outside of his house, you know, the trim and everything. That guy right here, across the street from my mother, named Jimmy. I'm in the ninth step, and my cover, my brother still using. You know, we using partner. I told Terry, I said, look, I'm going over here, and I have to make amends. I told him to Jimmy, and I'm going to go over here and see about, you know, that con that we ran on him. And he right across the street from my mother. She had to face him man every day. About her 2 conning ass son. You know? So I said, I'm going to repair this one right fast. You know, he was up on my list and I could do it. But all I owed was a painting part. So I told Terry, I said, look, I'm going to Jim's house and I'm going to make amends. I'm going to do what's right. But I need your consent. He said, I'm going to give you my consent, but I don't give a damn about no Jimmy or making no amends. I ain't doing none of it. So I got his permission to do it, but he wasn't going to co-sign it. He said, you do what you want to, hell with Jimmy. So I did. I knocked on Jimmy's door. I went over there. I told him what I was there for. I told him I wanted to do my part. I asked him to go buy some paint. It had not even been painted, man. This is like 5 years later. He went and painted, and I went to paint. I went to paint. I took a week off work, and I painted, and I painted, and I painted. I'm doing my, but I felt good painting now. There wasn't no anger, wasn't no resentments. I'm past all that. I'm just a painting and painting and painting. And when I finished, Jimmy paid me. He paid me. Spiritual experience. So I was able to take Jimmy right on off the list. And after that, for a long time, he called me every time he needed a painting job. Until I got a little bit too good to paint. You know, but I got him someone else to paint it for him. Alright. So, you see about asking permission. He didn't want nothing to do with it, but that was the way it was. Alright, let's do the next one.
This brings to mind a story about one of our friends. While drinking, he accepted a sum of money from a bitterly hated business rival. Giving him no receipt for it, he subsequently denied having received the money and used the incident as a basis for discrediting the man. He thus used his own wrongdoing as a means of destroying the reputation of another. In fact, his rival was ruined.
Keep going.
He felt that he had done a wrong he could not possibly make right. If he had opened that old affair, he was afraid it would destroy the reputation of his partner, disgrace his family, and take away his means of livelihood. What right had he to involve those dependent upon him? How could he possibly make a public statement exonerating his rival?
All right, let's stop there. This is a good one. I like this one because it has deep emotional stuff for me, and it wasn't even mine. Before taking drastic action which might implement, this brings This brings to mind a story about one of our friends. While drinking, he received a sum of money from a bitterly hated business rival. Somebody, somebody he didn't like, but he was in business with. Giving him no receipt for it. He collected his money, didn't write no receipt, and then lied about it. Told a lie on the man. Alright, it said that he subsequently denied having received the money, thus used the incident as a basis for discrediting the man. He thus used his own wrongdoing as a means of destroying the reputation of another. In fact, the rival was ruined. This man took this man money. He didn't like him. He was a business competitor. He received the money from him and then told a big lie that he never got the money, put it out in the public, and it ruined this man's company. As a cheat, nobody wanted to do business with him, and the man's company went out of business. Basically, that's how the story goes. Alright. Now, he done that publicly. He felt he had done a wrong, and I would too, which he could not possibly make right. If he opened that old affair, he was afraid it would destroy the reputation of his partner. He got a partner in his business. Disgrace his family and take away his means of livelihood. He gonna lose his job like the other person did. A company. What right had he to involve those dependent upon him? He talking about all the employees. He talking about his wife. He talking about the partner. All these people. If he was to tell this story, everybody might lose. How could he possibly make a public statement exonerating, that means to free from fault or responsibility, his revival? Now here's the deal. I sponsored a person, female. They're doing these 12 steps. She got to the point of making amends. And basically her story was kind of like, she had cause in a big company. She was executive in a big company. Alright? She had caused one of her bosses. She had accused him of sexual harassment. She lied. She made the whole thing up, sent it through the email, through everybody, and the man lost his job. And she taught him how to do amends. She had out of the company now. She did the amends. She honestly did the amends. I saw it. I read the letter and everything. She not only sent it to that company, she put it in the local newspaper.
Wow.
How she lied about that incident. The man was rehired, giving all the back pay back. And she didn't sit and spend a day in jail. Don't tell me that's not God. That's a spiritual experience. She had the courage to do it. Told y'all it was going to be deep. Go, read the last one. I'm going to stop here. All right, we got time. Go ahead.
After consulting with his wife and partner, he came to the conclusion that it was better to take those risks than to stand before his Creator guilty of such ruinous slander. He saw he had to place the outcome in God's hands, or he would soon start drinking again. Then all would be lost anyhow. He attended church for the first time in many years. After the sermon, he quietly got up and made an explanation. His action met widespread approval, and today he is one of the most trusted citizens of his town. This all happened years ago.
It's the same thing with him. He once he had the courage to do it, he prayed, he talked to his people. You kind of got the flavor of the men now. He went to church, he stood up, and since he did a public disgrace, he made a public amends. And now it says, his action met widespread approval, and today he is one of the most trusted citizens of this town. This all happened years ago. So when he did as a man, the spiritual experience came alive in his life. That make sense? Alright, let's do the next one.
The chances are that we have domestic troubles. Perhaps we are mixed up with a woman in a fashion we wouldn't care to have advertised.
You know what? Let's stop here. Let's stop here. Because that's a long one. Ain't no point in trying to do that. That'll take more than the time we got. But my point is that, and I wish everybody, make sure you come to the next one, because it's getting deeper and deeper in these men. But the amends are done in a fashion that you're not doing it alone anymore. You're going out to make your amends with the Spirit of God. And you're looking for something. You're not just doing that to be selfish and just to be sober, but you're trying to gain these spiritual experiences in your life. And you start to see it happen. Every time you scratch off a name or do something like that, you become more willing to do the next one. So basically, you know, if I had to look at where we are in the book, I done did this one, this one, this one. And I'm probably right up here now where Ron, Sears, and SunTrust and then IRS. So now, if you notice that this list don't exist no more, my now list. My later list became my now list. That don't exist no more because I'm knocking them out. So my maybe list becomes my what? Now. My now list. So at that time, all the stuff that since God's in charge now, and all my fear of money is leaving because some of the people that I was doing amends to, that I owe money, they end up giving me money back. So when somebody would give me money back, I just transferred it into another amend. It wasn't mine no way. I transferred to another amend that I owe money to. So I became more willing to do amend. In my mind, I was thinking that, wow, God was in all of this right here. When they get the Sears and SunTrust and all them other financial men that I didn't have the money for, I knew God was going to give me the money. I knew I was going to have the money. Thank y'all for a good meeting. All right.